This is Kenya's the number one opera in the world, according to Thorin. You're watching Thorin channel, that is also known as the number one existent fan in the world.
Obviously, I'm drinking my morning Gamer Sops. This is the cherry limesicle flavour. You can get 10% off and support me by using the code Thorin, Thorin, at gamersops.gg. I would recommend cherry limesicle, lemonade, guacamole Gamer Fart 9000, blue raz. Those will do for now. Those are some of my favourites. I tend to just stick with the flavours I like, personally. I'm not somebody who just changes it up constantly. By the way, you can also get caffeine-free ones if you just want to make water taste nicer, but you don't want to have too much caffeine. Personally, I only like to have one caffeine thing in the morning, and I cut off caffeine after 6 p.m. at night, so I have an easier time sleeping. They also have teas. They even have a tea that's actually helping you go to sleep without caffeine in it, as L-theanine. It's called Sleepy Time. They also have ones for energising you, like ginger turmeric and black tea and yerba mate, etc. If you do order some Gamer Subs, be sure to click on the free samples thing. So it adds like 3 little free sample thingamajigs of different flavours that you can just test out. Obviously, the 10% also applies to every single thing on their website. There's 2 problems these tier lists have. One is I didn't make them, so sometimes people don't put the right people on. So famously, like for example, in 2013, one of the better AWPers was the Danish player Nico with a C, who played for Western Wolves, and later Copenhagen Wolves the same year, and he isn't on this list, for example. Secondly, for these ones I can do it because these people are distinct enough I can recognise pretty much all of them. But especially in League, bro, they just put pictures, and I can tell you for some of the Koreans and the Chinese players, a tiny picture like that with no name written on and no hover over is a nightmare. It's so hard to see who they're talking about. But we're going to do this one because I figure for this one it's plausible we can do it. So this is CSGO AWPers of all time. I didn't make it. For some future ones, I'll just make them myself and add the extra pictures. So we're going to go through them all here. We're going to do the tier list. So we're not ranking them in order. We're just doing tiers. So we'll go through. I'll tell everyone and we'll go one by one, shall we? That's actually Freeze from SK Gaming back in the day. It used to be a pretty good AWPer in 1.6. He wasn't that good in CSGO. That's actually Fox when he played for SK as a stand-in. It's kind of a mid-ass AWPer, wasn't it? He could be in D tier. That's Junior when he played for, I think, Triumph. Obviously later played for Furia, wasn't that good. That's Tosh early on in Mouse. That's Simple. Actually, this won't work. I've just realized. What I'll do is I'll tell you who they all are and then I'll put them in the tiers. How about that? That's Simple. There's Kenny S. That's Halzerk. That's Sirison. That's Skadoodle. That's Wonderful. That's Orsi. That's Acor. I think that's supposed to be Brokey, but maybe really young. That's Cadian. That's Cirque. That's Device. That's Jim. That's Kooster, because that's actually a Genji outfit. That's Yugi. I don't even know who that is. Someone for Sprout, but it looks like Lekros. Is it Snatchy? Maybe it's Snatchy when he played for Sprout. There's Oscar when he was on Sinners. There's Ziwu. I don't even know who that is. Because what's weird is it looks like the face of Frozen mixed with golden. And it looks as though he's on... That looks like the Godsent logo, but it's really small. Who even is that? Does anyone know? Does anyone know in Twitch chat? Crystal, apparently. Why the fuck he would ever be on a CSGO AWPers list is mental, but this was made in 2022. Was never an elite AWPer, by the way. So that's actually, I'm guessing, when he was on some other shitter team. Then you have Guardian when he's really let himself go. You have fucking Draken when he's on Godsent, or Itchin or whatever. You have Young Monacy. You have Gratisfaction. You have Hades. I think that's Henny. Is that Henny? It's a really small picture, but I think that's Henny when he was on Godsent, maybe. That's Pasha, but it's just hard to tell because the top of his head's cut off, but he's muscular as fuck. That's JDM. I think that's JR from Vegas Run, who I wasn't even aware of, but it could be someone else from Vegas Run. I think that's JR. I'm not sure. I thought it was the RGL personally. There's JW from Fnatic. There's someone from Alternate Attacks. Is that Keeve? Did Keeve lose weight and look like that? If not, who gives a fuck, whoever it is? There's Fallen. There's Shiro, Alu, Makalele, Mertz, Mixwell, Nifty. I don't even fucking know. Who is that? Who is that? Is it someone else Brazilian? I don't know who that is. I can't see. It's too small, bro. That's Safe when he was on Pain. No, Furia, actually. Who even is that? It looks like it's someone from Spirit back in the day, but I can't. It's a Team Spirit jersey, but who is it? Who was an AWPer on that team a million years ago? Right, apparently that's NQZ. But who is that? Who is that? I have no idea. But someone from Team Spirit way back in the day. I disbalance. I could believe it could be me, but it was even the... Why would you even put them on this list? Like, you miss off some old school offers and put people that are never going to get on the list. It's nonsense. That's Dexter, but a long time ago. That's actually Sixer when he was on Envious. That's PTR from Diggs. You know a moron made this list because he wouldn't even be even in consideration. I don't even know who this is, but it's almost certainly someone CIS from the face. So who the fuck is that? Who knows or cares? He's not going to be on the list. That's Ricky, who used to be on Renegades. That's... Who is that? That's Shazam. I'm thinking of someone else, by the way. That's Shazam when he was on call. That's Smooya. That's Sun Pius. I think that's Martinez when he replaced Sun Pius on Movistar Riders. He now plays for 9Z. I don't know who even that is playing for Team Secret, but who gives a fuck? I think that's Nikados on Copenhagen Flames. I don't even know who this is. It's some Eastern European fucking guy, isn't it? Who is that World Edit? I think that's actually World Edit, but just a bit older. Fair enough. Okay. By the way, someone in chat's actually right, where's Chris J, but okay. Apparently the one after PTR is Elian. That would make sense. That could be Elian from Entropic. That's Woxic when he was on Mouse. Who is this? Does anyone know? It's so hard to see. I can't see who it's supposed to be. Maybe another Eastern European person. I don't know who this is either. It looks as though they're on Forza maybe, or Ultimate Attacks. I don't know who that is. That's Farley when he was on Astralis. That's Moore when he's on some team I don't know. That's Smith's on G2, which is just for memes. And that's Man2 when he was on OG. Someone's saying one of these is crucial. Is this one crucial? That could be crucial when he's on Endpoint or something, maybe. That could be right. That could be right. I don't know who that is supposed to be, though. Who is that? Does anyone know? Exapower, there we go. The old AWPer from Force. So, okay, could be him. So the one that was before Zorti. Right, the key thing is we've got all the ones we need for the actual fucking tier list, haven't we? Because we're going to start in S tier. Now, crucially, the way I'm doing tier lists is like this. Here's the problem. If we're talking greatest of all time, it has to be for their whole career. It can't just be 1 year. I could also do tier lists that, like at their peak. So I guess we're going to do the best of all time. We're going to do it that way, right? So we'll go and we'll do simple immediately. Now, look, if I was doing a list, I'd actually have a hard time because with the AWP, he probably is the best person at killing people. But if you mean AWP in terms of sniper, it's not like he plays that role the best. He sort of doesn't even do that role. He combat AWPs. But we all know he's going to be in S tier, so we'll just put him and Zebu in there immediately. Let's see, where was Zebu? Old Gum-Gums. We'll put Device in there immediately. I wish these were in order too. Device. We'll put Kenny S in there immediately. And then, because it's their whole career, we're going to put Guardian in there. Now, interesting detail, right? These three weren't even AWPers at the beginning. They were actually rifle players who switched to the AWP because it was so powerful and was so essential for their teams. And Guardian, I always thought wasn't as good as Kenny S, even though some people rated him more. I actually thought Guardian was a bit more flaky the first couple of years. Kenny S was more of a hard carry. But as their careers went on and Kenny S didn't play very much, Guardian actually had a better sort of last couple of years. So overall, they all deserve to be in this category. They are the very best AWPers ever. Now we'll see, will anyone else actually get to join them? It feels like no, by the way. It just feels like right out the gate, probably no. So these are easily the best AWPers of all time, those five. They're probably the only S tier, but we'll see as I go on. After that, we're talking about people like, let's see. Right, the immediate first one I'm already thinking of is Oscar. And Oscar would actually be a player who's probably on the border between A and S. Like if there were branches of S, he might be S- or A+. He is an extremely good AWPer in CS. So he would be A tier immediately. We're doing their whole careers here. So by the way, spoiler, Skadoodle's probably going to get in B or C. I mean, he was very good early on in his career. Who else am I thinking of though for this? Pasha was very good in 2014, 2015, but then after that, it was pretty good on the rifles too. Monacy, since it's CSGO, we're not going to put him in S tier. He didn't quite get there, but he did get to A tier. I think he deserves to be there. We'll have him there. Woxic would be probably more like a C or a B tier. Some Pius didn't have long enough, so I'm probably going to put him B tier or C tier. So we'll just put him there for now. Let's see. Shiro could probably go A tier. I don't think... Ooh, this is a tough one. This is a really hard one. Because maybe actually he also could be borderline S tier. I mean, people are going to say, yeah, but he's a bit too defensive. Yeah, but he was so good at that though. And I showed in my video, it wasn't that he was shit at majors. I'm really tempted to, because by the way, I actually think in CSGO, Shiro's better than Monacy. I'm tempted to put Shiro S tier. We'll think about that. We'll see if we get too many A tier players. Who else are we going to go with here? Right, Skadoodle for now, I'm going to put B because he was very good for a couple of years. It's just that after 2016, he started to fall off. Or latter part of 2016, he started... No. After 2016, he started to fall off. 2017, he was bad. 2018, he was scuffed. So, but for the first part of his career, 2014 to 2016, he was a pretty good player. I think he deserves to be in B. Let's think of some other people. We'll put Pasha there for now, but he could go down to C because he was also a rifler as well. JW probably should be in B, but maybe A. Here's the thing. He was really good, but a bit shaky on land. 2013, 2014. But had some insane performances still 2014. 2015, he was still very good. 2016, he didn't even actually AWP that much. That's when he was more mid to go on the rifle. The problem is his heights would get him into A, but his career maybe should be B. We'll think about that one. We'll come back to the JW one later maybe. The problem is there's too many new skill people. Like Fallen feels like B initially. At his peak, he was A and maybe S-, but that was like 1 year. After that, it was more like winning clutches with the AWP that he was good with or how to call around being an AWP. So for his whole career, probably B, but could be A. That's more of a touch and go. And Alu feels like a solid A most of his career. I don't think he truly ever was S tier, even though he'd tell you, by the way, he was like number 1 at one point in time. But I think he was a very good A player, and for most of his career, he was an A player. We're talking like 4 or 5 years at this point in time. Who else do I even rate out of these? Makaleli, I'm going to put B tier, because I did think he was good. He was a very streaky one, but I tell you what, he was a good impact player, and he did win quite a few tournaments, or make finals and deep runs. He was even the person who made the King Win team that became G2, that became FaZe, etc., etc. That's a pretty good one. Who else even deserves to be on this list? Dexter came along too late and only did really 2 years, but not that much. So even though talent-wise, I believe he'd be here, for his career, he probably has to be here. Is Sampaio really that much better just because of his career, though? We'll put him there for the moment and think about that one. Who else are we going? Jame, that feels like a B tier. He is a good AWPer within his style, but he doesn't play it like a superstar, and he also just doesn't go into certain clutches enough. So I've got to put him B, even though I think his talent is probably A. But he was never as good as Shiro, by the way. And even Monacy's better than him. Who else am I going to go with now? Where's Henny? Because Henny actually probably should be somewhere decent here. Which one was Henny? I think this one here. I think Henny can be a solid B tier player. Maybe bordering on A tier. Probably more B. Probably more B. This makes me think some of these have to get kicked out in a second, though. Wonderful was more like a C player at this point in time. He just hadn't had enough time, even though he had the odd run that was decent. The problem here is I'm also trying to think about their whole careers. I'm not doing it just off... I'm doing skill and career. If we're just doing skill, I'd have a very different list, wouldn't I? But this is supposed to be like all time, what we're trying to do here. Who else even did? Brokey, for me, wasn't even that much of an AWPer. That's the problem. So I guess he goes on C tier for now. Cirque was very good if we're going... He was mega in 2019. He was still fairly good in 2020. He was like 75% of very good in 2018. So maybe he's here for now. There's too many in B, so we're going to put some into A and put some down to C in a minute. Don't worry about that. Cadian, for me, was not actually as good an AWPer as Jim, and he had to call around himself a lot on T side. So Jim just baited a lot. Cadian actually set himself up for players. I think he's more of a C. I think every AWPer here is a better AWPer than him. By the way, Wonderful's a better AWPer than him, but it's just that career-wise, he's in more finals and semis and stuff. Who else? Elian. Talent-wise, probably on this level, but maybe more like there for now. Shazam, I was never really a big fan of. He's very up and down. He didn't have enough real... He didn't really do much deep in tournaments. I've done a lot of my favourites here. Torji in CSGO is probably a C. Sirison, he's probably C, but people just hate on him because he had some tournaments late that wasn't as good. He didn't have that many years, so does he get to be in C? Maybe put him in C for now. Over Elian, though? I don't know. They might be the same sort of player, really. And Torji really only had about a year or so, so maybe they should be in D. Kusta was never a top AWPer. Akor was good, but just not that good overall. Orsi was kind of a bit mid. He can go there, I guess. Halzerk as well, I guess. Fox, he was just better at 1.6. He's not really that good a player. Smooya probably deserves to be here as well. Believe it or not, probably talent-wise is as good as some of these, except maybe Tosh. Remember, you're thinking of Tosh in CS2. In CSGO, he wasn't as sick. He was much more streaky. JDM at his peak was probably C. Because it turns out he did need a lot of setup, but he did have skills. He wasn't a bad player. I just think he didn't have enough years at stake. 2016, he was pretty good. 2017, he was pretty good. But even then, it was starting to... Yeah, I think C's probably more fair there. C or D. Hades didn't really play enough in CSGO for me to care. Gratisfaction wasn't even that good. I think we've done all the good players here. Mixwell, Nifty, Safe. It was mainly online play, if you remember, for that one. Maybe he can go D. I mean, he wasn't really used properly, but he still wasn't bad. Sixer, Ricky, Shazam, Nikados. I was never a Nikados fan. World Edit, right? He almost certainly has to be somewhere. I think World Edit's probably B, believe it or not. Like, World Edit, talent-wise, might have been A, but I always got the sense he had to be sort of piloted a bit by Blade. But there was once upon a time a day where if you put him in a server against JW, Alu, fucking Oscar, he could have competed. He could have been good enough. That's still pretty fair, I think. Anyone I'm missing, though? I think we've got them all. I don't think most of the others matter. Did anyone else here matter that I've missed? Woxic, I guess. I'll put him C because he did have a very, like, impact style on LAN. He just didn't have enough years. It was only a couple of years. I'm going to put him C, though. I don't know, though. Can some Pius really be better than Woxic? That's where it gets tough. Maybe we're going to change up B a little bit here. Because I feel like I'm actually being too kind to some Pius. Because let's be real. His breakout was the Cologne 2022. So that's only about a year of play. Probably has to go down to C for that. Skadoodle was very good. Makalele was good, but had a bit more of a questionable career. Dexter, this is mainly on talent, I guess I'm putting him here. So maybe he should be in D as well. I mean, it's hard to put Jame above him, but Jame did play more years at the top. That's the problem. Like, I think Dexter's a better AWPer than Henny, but it's mainly only for like a year or so, isn't it? A year and a half. Cirque, World Edit. This is a more reasonable list already, though. Should I kick some more people down, though, is the question. Like, should anyone be above these guys? I feel like probably not. I think I've taken everyone I need, though. Do I need anyone? Who was that again? Oh, Crucial. He's definitely not making a list. Nikados. Exapower. Exapower could probably be D as well. He actually was a decent AWPer. They did force feed the AWPer in his hand on CT side a million times over, but it wasn't terrible. Mixwell wasn't really that much of an AWPer, by the way. He only sort of did it hybrid style. Nifty was mega overrated. I think this is it. I think we've got everyone. So now it's just a question of it. Oh, Mantu. Mantu can also go D. He didn't get that much chance on LAN. Actually, that's the problem. Most of it was online for Mantu, wasn't it? Maybe I have to take him off. He doesn't even get to be on the list. I think that's a pretty fair list. I think that is a very fair list, actually. And we're going with that. We're going with that. The problem is they were missing people like Nico with a C, probably could have been like C or B, depending on his career. Let me see. Are we missing anyone else who's a famous AWPer? Don't think so. That's why AWPers was a good one to pick in theory, because AWPers, there's not that many, is there? There can only be like 10 in the top 10. So, I mean, the joke here is, by the way, Nico with an AWP's probably better than most people even in B tier. You know. I don't know why people keep saying Chris J. Like, did he not watch his career? He'd have probably been in C or D tier. He was never an elite player. Everyone needs a support network, and mine is, of course, my Patreon community, the Scrominati, who, in many ways, they're the Sonny to my Cher, saying, I got you, babe. So this video and all the others on my channel were kindly supported by the following names: Ahmed Hadjou, Matt Pugnatio, Rajcula, Adam Tomlin, Animosity, Jensen Goh, Tosh, Tooorin, and you know it. Jerky's Minion, my main man, always going to be referenced, one of the best patrons of all time. Would you like to ask a question in my AMA? Maybe you want to suggest a topic or a guest to say on my channel? Do you want teasers? Find out who the upcoming Reflections and Talk to Thorin interviews are. Maybe you want to do one of those long discussions where you get to set the topics we talk about. Well, if any of these or others appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is. Join the Scluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box below.